In the darkest corners of the universe, where the light stops to a crawl and where sound cannot escape, where time stops working entirely and eventually things in existence stop making sense. Chaos is an inevitable force on our world and our lives, so we've made great efforts to contain it within this space for only an hour a week. This is the Chaos Continuum.
Are we recording?
Yes.
We're recording?
I don't know why I thought about lying about that. I thought I was gonna be like, no, we're not recording, and then let you go on your racist tirade or something. But yes, we're live. Welcome back to the Chaos Continuum podcast, where we have things to talk about.
Where we have us, no guest, just us.
Just us.
You know?
There's not normally a guest. I don't know why you would be expecting a guest. But yes,
I don't know. You know.
We are back.
We are back. Oh man. So what's new in the world? You know?
How have you been liking The Boys season 3? Our biggest fan just asked us to not talk about superheroes, so I figured we'd start out talking about superheroes.
Yeah. So I've only got to the part where Soldier Boy he's walking through the streets like when he's first in the streets.
Oh, yeah. He has his
I haven't watched any more of that. I really like it. Yeah.
It's a good show.
I'd definitely be down to give a full opinion when I'm done watching it. Yeah.
Fair.
You know.
Maybe that's something we just got to revisit.
I think so, definitely. Game Awards came out. Yeah.
Yeah. Finally.
That's exciting. I only know two things that won because I kind of forgot to read about it like I said I was going to because I got busy playing Overwatch. Yeah. You know. I definitely think Fortnite should have won the community game or the game thing. You know what I mean?
What did win?
The thing that Overwatch won. Overwatch won that.
Overwatch won?
Yeah.
Okay, that's weird.
The community game thing.
Yeah.
I think Overwatch is a second. Definitely. Yeah.
Overwatch is the company that said we can't work too hard.
It's about game, but they do work hard. Yeah.
I guess.
Mind, you know what I mean? They do a lot of stuff, add a lot of stuff, you know what I mean, right?
From outside
I do think
of the main Overwatch community, as someone who's not involved in that, from everything I've seen, it's just been fire out of Activision Blizzard for the last year.
Yeah.
Between Diablo and Overwatch and Call of Duty and everything. Everything is just on fire over there.
Yeah.
I guess that's my main versus I look at something like Fortnite and it's that makes a lot more sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but that Eminem concert fucking blowed. Yeah.
But they added Lego Minecraft to it.
That's awesome too, but I don't care. Yeah.
Well, fuck you then.
I play Fortnite maybe once a month. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know. Not happy that Baldur's Gate 3 won. Yeah.
No.
I hold steady and fast, or whatever the word is that I'm looking for, that Mario Wonder should have won that.
God, it's such a fucking dead joke. We've already talked about this. We talked about how even you didn't think it was funny.
I'm serious now.
No.
This isn't a bit anymore. Yeah.
No, you're not serious.
Yeah. I am completely serious. I think the way that Mario does, even in the other games, how they design levels and stuff like that, I think a lot of people take that for granted. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I think it deserves some more recognition.
People take it for granted because it's kind of Mario has been Mario for the last, decade at least.
I mean, I guess so.
It's not. I'm not saying it's a bad game or it's bad or anything like that, but it's just it's just Mario. You know, it's always good to have more Mario or more slightly new inventive Mario, but it's still Mario.
Maybe I'm just proud of Mario because they actually did something different. You know what I mean? Yeah. You know, I'm good job, buddy. You finally added arms after every other game has done it. You know what?
Yeah, exactly. After every other game has done it.
I know. Maybe I'm just happy that they're finally doing something different, but it's not in a bad way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Maybe my expectations for games are just so low.
They really are.
My expectations for games are so low because of all the games that are kind of that I've played in the past and stuff like that. Right?
Yeah, games
that, like,
are just so
when
shit
somebody
on average that, like, when there's a game that's, like, really good, like, like, as much as I like a game like God of War Ragnarok, if all games were made to the same, like, kind of level of quality they were in, like, 2010, 2011, God of War Ragnarok would be, like, 1 out of 7 really good games that came out in a year. But because it came out in a year that shared, like, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, it looks so much better.
I think the reason why I, like, did the bit, but also wasn't a bit, was that I haven't played Baldur's Gate 3, so I don't want to, you know what, like, I'm kind of going off of what I played. I think Tears of the Kingdom, I think, definitely beat, like, in, like, the new games that I played that were up there. Because I haven't played Alan Wake either. Yeah. I've watched somebody play it, like, behind them. Right? But I haven't actually, like, there's a difference. Like, even if I watch somebody play a game, I can't really make judgment on it. You know what I mean? Right? Like, I can make judgment on the story and the different, like, how the side missions work and stuff like that, but actually playing it, right? I don't know. It's not that I think Baldur's Gate 3 is a bad game. It's just that if I had to make a decision on what I think was the best game of the year, I kind of cut the stuff out. That those games might be super fantastic. I just haven't played them. You know what I mean? Right? I think I've been through enough scenarios for me personally where I've had somebody really hype up a game. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just been really bad. Now, I don't think every game that somebody hypes up is going to be bad. I just think for me, my safer bet when I'm talking about games that I think that were great this year, I just don't talk about the ones that I haven't played, or especially that I haven't seen anything about. And I've really avoided as much Baldur's Gate 3 as I can, more because I do want to play the game, right? Yeah. And rather than, like, my friends telling me stuff like that, that's fine. But actually watching stuff on it, like, I avoid that, which is a reason for me that I didn't, even when you're doing it, that I kind of went in a bit mode, and that even now, like, you know what I mean, right?
Yeah. I think for me, it's just the fact that I probably would have pegged Baldur's Gate 3 as Game of the Year even before I played it, because it was out for a solid, like, month and a half before I had even gotten a chance to get into it. And I was already fairly sure that it would probably be Game of the Year, because it had the same effect on the industry as, like, Elden Ring had. You know, where you have all these developers coming out being like, don't use this as a comparison. This is far too good of a game, and it's too high of a standard for us to meet. And it's like, dude, Baldur's Gate 3 is a AA game. Like, it's not even a AAA studio. They don't have a big publisher. They've got a pretty decent budget, but it's not like, you know, they're not like Call of Duty or God of War where they have 200 developers and a $500 million budget, you know?
Yeah. I think if I were to sit down and play it, I think I'd agree. I think I still, like, agree with you now. Yeah, right?
Yeah.
I can't compare something to something.
It's hard to compare when you haven't actually played it. Just going off what people say.
Played it, right? And I think that's, like, and I don't want to, for me personally, I don't want to, you know, like the Bethesda fans out there that, you know, go, this game has to be good. You know what I mean? It's stuff like that. Or
I feel like Bethesda fans are just gaslighting themselves, you know, where, like, they just...
Except for the Paper Mario fans, please don't come after me. Okay? Cool. Yeah. I love that game.
I think Bethesda fans have definitely gaslit themselves. Like, they've spent so much time playing Skyrim, and they are like, well, if I played Skyrim this long, I have to play Fallout this long. And they play Fallout for so fucking long, they, like, lie to themselves about being in on it. And then Starfield comes out, and they're like, well, if I put so many hours into Skyrim and Fallout, that just means that I'm going to love Starfield. The only thing I liked about Starfield, even remotely, was, like, the Lego-style shipbuilding. And even that was very clunky, and you can't really do anything really creative with it because of the limitations and stuff that it puts on ships.
Like, it goes back to the Fallout 4.
Like the base building.
The base building, right? This is one of the things when I talk about Fallout 4 is Skyrim and stuff like that. And I haven't played a lot of Skyrim, right? I think I've played enough of it to make my own judgment call on the gameplay, because I really don't feel like, for me, I played a couple hours of it, and I really don't feel like the gameplay transcends past what it is at its base value. You know? Right?
Yeah.
But I think that when I talk about, one of the things that really annoys me when people talk about how great Fallout 4 is, they're like, but the mods! And I'm like, yeah, but that's like judging a movie on the comic books. You know what I mean? Right? You know, like, it doesn't work that way. And I think that if you like a game because of the mods, you don't, like, you know what I mean? That's like me saying I love Spider-Man. I love the Spider-Man movie because of the comic books. Yeah. You know what I mean? Right? I don't actually love what this movie is bringing me. I love the extra... Sorry, I re-inhaled the smoke from the cigarette.
Yeah.
That I love the extra stuff, right? Yeah.
Exactly.
And I think it's my biggest issue with a lot of Bethesda fans that I meet. It's rather you get the dick writing ones, like, no, the game's really good. Or meet the ones, but the game's good because of the mods. And I'm like, well, no, that's not how it works. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Minecraft has some
like,
whack-ass mods that turn that game into something that is completely different.
That's what I love about Minecraft, though. But it, like... Sorry, continue.
But that doesn't make, like... you can get a mod pack that turns Minecraft into a fucking excellent third-person shooter. That doesn't mean Minecraft is a better third-person shooter than something like Gears of War, you know? Like, that's just not how that works. It just means that mods for the game are incredible. You know?
Yeah. So I don't know. I on the Baldur's Gate 3 thing, I think I'm going to try it. I probably will, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just not going to talk about something that I've never played, that I've never really consumed any media of. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because then I don't want to sit here and preach a game that I think that I'm like, yeah, no, this game is fantastic. This game is fantastic when I play it, and maybe I don't think of it that much, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not a game journalist. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I would want to, if I do play it, I would love, even if we just sit down for just we can do a 0.5 episode, midweek, where we spend 30 minutes and we just talk about the experience of Baldur's Gate.
Yeah, I'd be entirely down for that. I'd be down with dedicating an entire episode to Baldur's Gate 3 after you've played it.
Yeah.
Because I've played it 5, I'm working on my 5th right now, and it's still fucking amazing. And I'm still finding new things about, like, the characters and the world and stuff that I didn't find before that just keep me interested.
Speaking of characters,
Mm-hmm.
I've gone down my rabbit hole of looking at, like, comic book characters and stuff like that. And I know our number of us biggest fans say, "Well, don't talk about that," but I'm not talking about the comic books. It's my character design and stuff like that. You know, and we talked about this a little bit before, but I've rediscovered how much, like, I dislike Darth Vader in the movies, but I just love his character design. Yeah, and kind of everything about that. You know what I mean?
When you say his character design, do you mean, like, the makeup of his character as a narrative thing, or, like, his just costume?
Well, I think it's a bit of both. Yeah.
Fair.
Right? You know, like, I think the way that, like we talked about this before, like, there's definitely the way that he fights. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right? That he feels like an unrelenting force. Yeah. You know?
Yeah.
But he also doesn't feel like God. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, after brought up with the Homelander thing, right? But he doesn't give me the same vibe as Homelander. Like, I don't look at Darth Vader as some, like, God. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right? Like, I don't think of him as, like, some god, like, stands above everybody else. I just think him as, like, a brute force warrior. You know?
He's really, really powerful. Especially compared to, like, who he fights against. But I think, like, he kind of falls under, like, Homelander as far as power scaling goes. Because if you put Darth Vader on a planet, and you blow that planet up, he's gone. He's dead. You know? You put him on a spaceship and blow you that spaceship up, he's dead.
But I think one of the reasons I think what makes me look at him that's far different than Homelander, though, that in a lot of issues when he does get in combat, he does get, like, seriously injured. You know what I mean? Right?
Well, yeah, he does a lot more actual fighting, but as far as him, like, being mortally wounded or being able to, like, walk away from mortal wounds and stuff, I still think he's very much on the same level as Homelander in so much that, like, there's nobody else who can really put him to the test. He can be worn down by, like, just unstoppable, like, wave after wave after wave of whatever.
Well,
but, like,
I don't see... I just, like, I think maybe because I've spent a lot of the time reading the Expanded Universe, and I don't know if this counts, right? And I'm not looking at him... This isn't me looking at him from a movie counterpart. This is me looking as a character from all sorts of media. There are a lot of instances where he almost fucking loses. You know what I mean? Right?
There's also a lot of instances where he's just, like, super stupidly overpowered, you know? Like, it kind of depends on... he's kind of, like, got the same superhero thing of, like, he's as strong as the plot needs him to be in this moment, so he could either be...
Well, and I think... The other way that you have to look at it, though, is that it's, like, different writers writing stories.
Well,
you know
exactly,
what I mean?
That too.
Right?
Like, you have people over 4 decades of books and comics and games and stuff.
But that's why I take his heightened, like, how he is, it is, like, his strongest, and I kind of slash that, and I'll take him at his weakest and slash that. You know what I mean? And find that general area. You know what I'm saying, right?
Yeah, maybe.
Rather than going, in these stories, he's super powerful, so he must be super powerful, right? But in these stories, he gets his fucking ass kicked. You know, right? Like, you're getting... So I kind of, like, take those and I mix them together to find that common... You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I also just think that as a character, kind of emotionally, there's substance there. You know what I mean? Right? Like, there's actual... Like, he doesn't like slavery, and he's not a fan of the Death Star. You know what I mean? Right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I think he's a good character when you look at more than movies, which I know.
I feel like that's kind of a cop-out, though, because saying like he's not a fan of slavery. Yeah. The man isn't in charge of the Empire. He could tell them to not use Wookiees as slaves if he really wanted to.
Well, but I don't like. But then he's not in charge of it. Yeah.
I don't know. I would say that I feel like he could walk up to any commander and like isn't he fucking the highest rank in the military outside of Palpatine.
But I think, but like him and Palpatine like have this weird relationship. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess. Right? If Palpatine is micromanaging enough to where like Darth Vader is like, no, we cannot be using slaves, and Palpatine's like really, really getting into like he's like fucking pushing pencils, literally, and being like, no, we're gonna enslave as many of these hairy, stupid, ape-looking fucks as we can.
And that's I genuinely believe, because that's why Palpatine keeps him in his suit, though, is to cause that pain to keep him like in that state, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
You know what I mean? Of anguish and of hate, right? Like, I think there's more there than just going. I don't think it's a cop-out, and I think it's purely because now if Darth Vader was the one in charge and he was like, I don't like slavery and still did it, that'd be a cop-out. But I think because you have this guy who micromanages, you know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
Who sends people to kill Darth Vader to test him constantly, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah, except for he doesn't really manage, I feel, because Palpatine like doesn't really exist to anyone outside of his inner circle.
But he uses those people in his inner circle, right? Like when Darth Vader starts disobeying, he sends one of the admirals. Fuck, I can't remember his name. He's the old guy. Yeah.
Oh, Tarkin.
Tarkin, who then takes control over what Vader was doing, and Vader has to serve him. You know what I mean? Right?
Okay.
Like stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right? Like it's not Palpatine going up to the people, the slavers, and enslaving the Wookiees and going, slave them all. Like
no,
you know what I mean, right?
No, I'm hearing the fuck is it called? Adult chicken, robot chicken, Palpatine, voiced by Seth Green, just walking up to the Wookiees with two whips in hand, going, "Get back to work! Get back to work!"
But I think Star Wars does a lot of, in my mind, good like costume designs, though. Yeah.
Oh, almost always.
And I think what sucks about that is sometimes their characters just suck fucking ass, but they look really cool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, that is like the most popular Star Wars characters. Their whole thing is they don't do anything, but they look fucking fantastic. Like that goes for both Boba Fett and Phasma. Like they're just the most fucking baller looking motherfuckers, and they get taken out on a whim.
I think one of my favorite, I think Cad Bane is still one of my favorite characters.
Oh, yeah. I think Star Wars is also really, I mean, it's part of the timeless aesthetic thing. Like, you can have somebody inspired by samurai-type armors. You can have your space cowboy, your space monk, your space knight, and it all works simultaneously, you know?
Well, that's what's, it's like
so you get a good variety of
Cad Bane to General Grievous, this cyborg. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right?
And that's like a thing where a lot of, I feel like a lot of, especially sci-fi stuff falls out of. Say like Warhammer. Warhammer does have a lot of variety in like the different factions. You know, you have like the orcs, the space racists, and the bigger space racists. But like, say you look at one faction, like the humans and the space marines, they're all 10-foot dude in a suit of power armor, or a bigger suit of power armor, or maybe even bigger suit of power armor, right? Like, there's not a whole lot of variety there. There's variety in, like, the flavor of power armor, but it's a 10-foot dude in power armor, and there's not a whole lot of deviation from that.
I think one of my favorite things about the Ahsoka show is about the only thing that I really like deeply enjoyed was the fact of how Grand Admiral Thrawn's, like, stormtroopers look. They've got that Roman aesthetic to them, and I think it just suits that so well.
Are those the ones that have like the skull mask like implanted in it?
He's got like the gold mask, and a lot of them have like the red like
yeah, no, you're talking
silk.
about.
You know what I mean? Yeah, like it suits Grand Admiral Thrawn if he's running a battalion or whatever. I don't like the look of Grand Admiral Thrawn. It makes
Wouldn't they be blue instead of red?
In that serious. Pardon?
Wouldn't they be blue instead of red? It was fitting, or I guess they want to make it look.
I think the
Roman.
red. I think
the red is definitely more imposing.
I think it was blue. Yeah, I don't, because I think Grand Admiral Thrawn is meant to be this imposing character.
Well, he's supposed to be like Julius Caesar in space, right?
And I think because I see that, and I think, like, you know what I mean? Like Julius Caesar shit like that, right? And then that kind of scene just works so well, right? Yeah. And I think, and I actually talked with somebody else about the blue, and I'm like, I think the blue would be laughable. You know what I mean? Right?
Yeah. Fair.
Granted, I have an issue with Grand Admiral Thrawn. It looks like he's going to look at me with that imposing voice and look at me and go, "The barbecue's ready," or however he speaks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Come flip burgers with me. They teased me with something that I found really annoying. Yeah.
Huh.
Right?
I haven't
I
watched
can never
the
figure
show,
out
by
if
the
they...
way.
I never figure out if they know that Darth Vader was Ahsoka's... Like, Darth Vader was originally Anakin, and they know that... You know what I mean? The dynamic, or if they don't. Like the other characters, right? You know what I mean?
I guess. I
Like,
don't know what the context of this
They
is.
missed that beat. Well, no, because throughout the show, like, Ahsoka has these moments with Anakin where she like goes to like the Force afterlife realm, yeah.
Yeah.
And you've got really CGI for Anakin. You've got a few scenes where an explosion happens, and instead of Anakin, it turns into Darth Vader. Like, there's some cool cinematics there, right? Yeah. But I think a really fun plot point would be to have her to confront the fact that Darth, you know what I mean, right? And they just keep missing that. They keep teasing it, and it's to the point that it stops becoming the waiting game, and it just becomes frustrating. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I don't know. I don't really like Star Wars right now. I don't really like a lot of media right now.
Yeah, I'm entirely off Star Wars. The last Star Wars thing I interacted with was Survivor at the beginning of the year, and I thought it was all right, but
The last Star Wars thing I enjoyed was the Skywalker saga. You know?
Oh,
Hello?
the Lego game. Oh,
Yeah, the Lego game.
I was trying to think.
Yeah.
I was like, what? I was like, is he talking about Rise of Skywalker? I was like so confused.
That was one of my favorite games I think I played this year. Yeah.
The Lego game.
There was something. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's because they changed the shift of how the combat works in Lego games. Yeah. And just changed a lot of things. And I had a lot of fun with it.
Maybe it's because it's like a new Lego video game.
Well, I think it's new, but it's like fresh. You know what I mean? Right?
Yeah.
Like it's fresh. It's not the same thing where you just press X a bunch of times, or like the original Lego Star Wars games, where you just jumped and pressed X to do your slam attack and you just killed everything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think the fun, like it was something new and it was something fresh and it didn't feel like, you know.
Yeah. You know what's really awesome for video games?
What?
E3 is dead. It's in the dirt for real.
Finally.
Yeah, right? Been fucking waiting. I'll be honest, I kind of preferred the E3 format where everyone just dropped their trailers all at once and that was it. Instead of, like, you know how they kind of have it, like, broken up randomly throughout the year. But, I mean, also, at the same time, I'm glad they finally just decided, you know what? Put it down. Old Yeller, that son of a bitch, instead of being like, well, maybe we'll come back. And then just not doing it.
Yeah. I just think gaming feels like it's going down as a whole. You know what I mean? Like, maybe it's
definitely not going down, because as far as, like, economically and everything, right? Like, it's still fucking the biggest industry right now as far as entertainment goes compared to movies and, like, music. But
I mean more like the magic of it. You know what I mean?
I think we're hitting, like, a third renaissance in gaming almost. So, like,
yeah.
I think one of the first big shifts in games is, like, consoles. And when you had the PlayStation and the Xbox that started a whole new era of gaming. And kind of almost right around the end of the 360's life cycle, we started getting very corporate games. And that's where we started seeing the downfall of a lot of, like, the really big studios. Like, obviously, BioWare and EA and Activision and Sledgehammer Games and all, like, the older Call of Duties, like, right around the time that, right after Black Ops 2 came out and everything. And then now, we're kind of hitting a point where almost every single developer at a AAA level, fuck you, spray thing, almost every single developer at a AAA level has either completely fallen off or has remained headstrong, and they've never really faltered. But everyone else has kind of fallen off, or they're just getting really repetitive and boring. And we're seeing a huge rise in indie and AA games. Like, Plague Tale, Baldur's Gate, Cult of the Lamb, Undertale, those super fucking small games made with a studio of like 10 people fucking blowing up compared to a game like Call of Duty.
I don't want to sound cynical. Yeah, right? But do you think we're going to keep repeating the cycle, though? Like, I don't want to. Like, I'm not saying that we are, but I think like I'm not saying that like 2 years from now everything's gonna go to shit. But like, do you think we're gonna at some point we're gonna start seeing?
I
that
think some
slow
studios might,
roll
right? Like,
of corporatization.
I think some studios might. Like, I'm kind of worried that that's kind of where CD Projekt Red is heading. Like, after Cyberpunk and everything, it seemed like they were very like focused on getting the game out and everything like that. And it's like,
Yeah.
some
I think
of the magic here was lost in between Witcher 3 and, I mean, Witcher 3 is not a great game as far as like technically speaking, but
I don't think that was just like, I think there was like the fans were super hyped about it. I think there was a push from the fans, right? Yeah, like why isn't it done yet? Why do you keep pushing it back?
Yeah.
Right? When I honestly think that if everybody would just shut up, let them do the work, let them No Man's Sky it. You know what I mean? Right?
Yeah. I think it's just sort of going to be a recycling ecosystem now. Like, that's kind of what you have in movies. Most movies, it'll start from something small. Like, look at the MCU. The MCU started from one project that, like, the Marvel was on the verge of bankruptcy. Now that they're big and they're owned by Disney, they just sort of do whatever because they know it'll sell tickets. I feel like games are like that kind of way. And then movies like that in general kind of go in that MCU direction. Even like fucking Mad Max is doing it now. Until you get smaller studios that start to crop up, like A24, that just knows how to do it correctly, and that's where all the good movies come out of now. Like, you kind of have that with games, where, like, you'll have somebody, I forget his name, but it was the guy who, I want to say he was the writer on Modern Warfare, Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare, way back in the day. And then he left after Modern Warfare 2 to make Titanfall, and then he was the director on Titanfall 2, and then after Apex Legends started, he left Respawn to then start a third thing, you know? Like, the biggest thing, especially about games, is not the studios and the names attached to them, but the people who made them, right? Like, if you have a director who's responsible for something, like, that was my big worry about God of War Ragnarok, was not that it's being made by Santa Monica again, but that Cory Barlog, who had done the creative directing and everything for the first game, was not directing the second game. He was just doing the narrative side of things. And I was like, well, I wonder if it'll turn out any worse. Thankfully, it didn't. But for a lot of places, that is the case. Look at Modern Warfare or any of the Call of Duty games going after Modern Warfare 3 designed by that studio. I don't remember. Is that Sledgehammer?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, and they basically, like, stopped existing after that point because the upper echelon of the people at those studios moved on to make something else, and Titanfall 2 was fucking fantastic, right? It's better than any Call of Duty game in the last 10 years. And then they got big in corporate, being bought out by EA and everything like that. And then Apex Legends comes out, and it's following another trend, and it's going down the same path as all of these other hero-based Battle Royale shooters, right? And then the guys who did Titanfall 2, who went on to Apex Legends, have now left and started their third own studio, you know? Like, it's just sort of this recycling process.
And I don't think that's ever going to change.
No. As long as, like, the current... the biggest thorn in our side right now is capitalism, and it's going to be that way for as long as capitalism exists, right? Like, as long as the main... the primary function of any piece of media is to make money. That's just what's going to happen. That's just how corporatization of stuff works.
And things can start out as a passion project, and that can always lead to that, right? Like, I'm not a believer that all things are made to start out with the concept of making money, but I do genuinely believe that a lot of that stuff that's what it leads to, right? You know what I mean?
This is how stuff like it even happens to YouTube channels. Like, look at something. I think it was Smosh just recently bought themselves back. Like, they literally lost control of their thing that was a fucking, built in a garage passion project YouTube channel that got corporatized, and then they had to, like, buy it back and everything like that. That doesn't happen to everybody, of course.
No. I don't think they got corporatized. They sold it. They sold it to people that, like, they knew. Yeah.
Well, yeah, but like, in that effect, it was corporatized. It was like
I guess so.
It was turned into, like, more of a company focused on making content that was, people pleasing or really viral versus.
Just looking at it from different things, that a lot of content creators hit a point where that you can tell by watching it that it's almost like they stopped enjoying it. You know what I mean? Right? because now it becomes about pumping out kind of videos and stuff, right? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and I don't think even like as a smaller creator, this is probably something I've told you. If I haven't, well, I guess I'm retarded.
Yeah.
But it's like videos about something that you're not interested in kind of just sucks. You know what I mean?
It definitely hurts. Like,
but I don't know. I think it's important to like, and it's like I explained to some people, you can do things for the money, but it's important that what you're doing is something you enjoy, and it's not all about the money. You know what I mean? Because looking at things is all about the money, and if you're looking at it more about the money than more the fact that you enjoy it, that just leads to like an endless, soulless.
Well,
pit
especially
of, like,
in like a creative endeavor, right? You can't pour yourself into something that becomes a job.
Yeah, I think, but even if you're working a job, right, or like you're focusing on a job for your future, but it's all about the money and not something that you want to do, like that's a fucking miserable way to live.
Well, yeah, that's also like, you're just doing a job for the sake of making money or whatever.
Yeah.
Which, unfortunately, for a lot of people, is just how life ends up going because yeah,
money is everything in a specific way, you know.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I like. They're like, yeah. Is there any? What else? I don't know where to go for that.
Okay. Well, you know what? I'll bring up the mood a little bit. So there was a guy playing video games, specifically on a Discord channel, as people tend to do nowadays in Minnesota, and they managed to talk one of their friends who was a teenager in Texas into killing himself, and they were charged with. I think they were
move my ass.
charged. I think they were charged of encouraging suicide.
Yeah, you'd be an accessory at that point, right?
Yeah, I don't know if it counts as an accessory or if they just get fucking charged with. It just says charged for what do you call it? Aiding suicide and harassment causing death, which it's a misdemeanor charge. A misdemeanor for harassment causing death. Damn. But
yeah, at least there's something done, even though it was little. You know what I mean, right?
Well, they also get hit with a felony.
Yeah, like, you know, like there's something that's done, you know, and like condolences.
Point is, if people are shitty anywhere on Discord, you don't
call
have
the
to
cops.
stick around that. Yeah, the cops probably won't do anything, but just like don't
call the FBI.
Be around it. Yeah, and if you have like you know, obviously if you have, what do you call it, children or stuff around that are online and participating in online discussions and stuff.
And
just be
if somebody's talking shit about them, just get on the mic for them and just, you know, talk it back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Be that kind of parent. Be the parent that picks up the headset when they're playing COD, gets on and goes, "You fucking mom, I'm gonna fuck your mother." You know what I mean? Yeah. You know? Stand up for your children. You know?
Yeah.
Do the right thing and be worse than the other person.
It also says he was found with a headset on after, which like that's got to be the most baller way to go out in a Discord call. You know, like. Everyone's making fun of you. I would assume.
I'm not trying to make a joke about it, but like
I don't think he was listening to like Eminem "Can't Stop Me" or whatever, and like, you know, this is fucked.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. It's a really horrible thing that happened, and be aware of like what your children are interacting with on the internet or your friends in general. You know,
but I think it's just the people.
If somebody tells you they're having problems with like suicidal thoughts or whatever, don't be like jump off a bridge. Like no, help. People
like help
whether they're your friends or not, like you should just try to help if you can.
And but I also think of the people that are going through that stuff, and I know like there's always a joke of just turn off, just leave. You know what I mean?
It does, and unironically, it does wonders. When I'm really mad at video games and stuff, you know what I'll do? I'll like fucking draw, or like pick up like a fucking coloring book or anything, or like paint miniatures or something.
I think even if you've got like friends like in person that are, or no people that are in person that are like that, yeah. I don't like condone violence, but I think sometimes pick up your fist and punch him in the teeth. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right?
If it's a bully or something, yeah, for sure.
Like,
but for me, the biggest thing is like if you're ever doing something that makes you angry, don't do it. Or if it makes you sad, or if it makes you whatever, don't do it. Fight it if you can, or just stop doing it. You know, like if you're playing a video game and it's really fucking making you angry, or if you're in a Discord and there's people like fucking absolutely making you livid, just pop out of it. Don't
Also,
I've had
but,
interactions with people on Discord or like various gaming forums or Reddit or whatever fucking cesspit of the internet where people just start saying the most stupid shit. I know I'm not going to get anywhere, but they're trying to argue with me regardless, and it's just making me irritated. So I'm like, you know what, fuck it, and I turn it off, and I just don't. I'm never going to look at it ever again. It doesn't bother me. You can't let it bother you.
But I think for me, or not for me, but I think the other thing you got to remember though is that like, yeah, just don't do it, but also don't be afraid to have the possibility of putting yourself in situations. You just have to know when to like fuck off. That makes sense, right? You know what I mean? Like, don't be afraid to put yourself in positions that can make you sad or, you know, make you anxious or even make you angry, right? Like, don't seclude yourself from those things, right? Like, I think it's important to take risks, but understanding that when things are going bad...
It's just as harmful to, like, shield yourself from ever being angry ever.
It does the same shit, right? Like...
It's a good tool to know how to deal with it, but also know that, like, walking away from something is an option. Like, just don't, you know, entertain it. Don't give it the light of day.
And I know that's easier said than done, right? Yeah, like I'm going to get into a super, super dark topic, but it's like I've got a few friends and even myself that have been victims of abuse, right? You know what I mean? And it's so, and I've had people tell me, well, just walk away, right? Yeah. I'm like, when you get out of it, obviously, you know, like that makes fucking sense, you know, right? But I think when you're in those moments, like I understand that it's hard, you know, right? And I understand that sometimes it feels like walking away from just even like people just bullying you, right, is really hard. You know, but I think like, and I know it's hard to say, just don't just stand up for yourself, because I know that I should have done that definitely, right? Yeah, but like I do sit there after going through it for years, right? Yeah, that that standing up for yourself, like one of the things, this is prison logic if you want to know it. You want to know the prison logic that I was taught? Yeah. It's always better to put up your fists and try to fight than be a little bitch. You know what I mean? Right? Even if that means if you get your ass beat, but you're putting up a fight, you're still putting up a fight, and then it'll get you further than just curling up.
There's more respect in getting your ass beat than just sitting down.
And then just sitting down and taking it.
Yeah.
Right?
Also, prison advice, don't be a pedophile, because they will murder you. Don't be a pedophile in general, actually. Honestly.
That's not prison advice. That's just life advice. And like I said, and like, I know that we don't have a lot of viewers, and I know Spire is the only person that's going to hear this, right? But like, but that doesn't mean it should be happening. When I'm saying, well, just, you know, even if you get your ass beat, put your fist up, it doesn't mean that it's okay that you're getting your ass beat, but it makes a difference when you attempt to stand up for yourself. You know what I mean? You know.
I also feel this is going to be a wild. I don't know if this is going to be a wild take, but I also feel there's also certain things you just don't tell certain people, like. So, like, from here, it's like, it says that he told his friends on Discord that he was having troubles and, like, having suicidal thoughts and stuff like that. And then they, like, bullied him so hard that he went through with it. And it's like, if they were that kind of people from the get-go, those are not the kind of people he should have talked to about it in the first place.
I don't open up. I'll talk about some of the stuff that I've been through in my life and whatnot.
Like, have friends that you know you can depend on. Like, I saw this earlier. I was looking through, like, advice for, like, getting into programming and coding and stuff on Reddit, like, people, like, sharing their own experiences. And one of the things I said was, hi, I'm a 29-year-old female, and I am really depressed, and I really hate my job, and I'm trying to learn how to do this. And it's like, why is that important, necessarily? Like, you're kind of...
Yeah.
It feels like you're just sort of opening yourself up in a way that I feel like people have forgotten that the internet is still wild and anonymous, and it should not be so open booked.
It's one of the things that I've learned, and like this is kind of really fucked up to say, and I don't mean it in a negative way, right? But a lot of the times, and sometimes it doesn't mean that it should happen to you, but sometimes when you make yourself a target, you know, things will happen. You know what I mean, right?
Well, it's not even so much that you like make yourself a target, but it's also that like people generally do not care. People are too busy with their own things going on that they're not going to care, and it's just going to sound more like whining. And
it's like you don't.
But also on the ammunition thing, just be cautious of anyone on the internet. You know, unless you're texting your little fucking grandma, although she might bully you too. I don't know. I don't fucking know. But like, just don't be telling things to people, especially if they're not like close friends that you know you can trust and you can be I even look confiding
at, like, me and you is that I'll talk about some of the stuff I've talked about with all sorts of people, right? Yeah. And I don't think that shit doesn't bother me. But when I've got something that actually does bother me, like I'll talk to you about it to other people, and I won't bring it up to a lot of other people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
But I think it even goes some that goes for the real world stuff. Like I always look at the internet. It's like when I go to a bar, when I know it's like a small town shit dive bar, right? Yeah, you know. And if I'm looking to pick a fight, you know what I mean, then I'm gonna do dumb shit, right? But if I don't want to fight somebody, I'm gonna, you know what I mean, like shut up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, right? Like don't like attract that, right? Yeah, you know.
Yeah. Don't put yourself out as somebody that can be targeted, basically.
But like, yeah, but it's hard to say that because then it's like sometimes that people take that as just don't put yourself there at all. Like put yourself out there. You just gotta understand that sometimes
you can't just put yourself out there. The point is, you can't just put yourself out there, but you have to put yourself out there with people that you already have a repertoire and you trust with. You know, like
but also the side note that if you're gonna put yourself out there in any form of the way, even something with extreme, you've got to be able and understand that there's going to be kickback. You know what I mean, right?
Probably, yeah.
And you have to accept that, right? You know what I mean? And that doesn't mean that it should happen. It's not what I'm saying. I don't think it should happen, but it's going to happen. You know what I mean?
Ben's basically saying he just thinks that you should be bullied for opening your mouth.
No. I don't think you should be bullied. I'm just saying that there's the chance that it's going to happen, and it's evaluating risk. You know, right?
Yeah.
That makes sense. You know. I don't know. Maybe it's how I grew up. That it was if you don't think that you can handle the risk, don't do it. You know what I mean, right?
Yeah, I think that's fairly neat advice. You know.
And I think it makes you sound like an asshole when I tell that to some people, and I don't mean it to sound like a dick, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just saying that a lot of the times when people put them out themselves with all sorts of things, these people that I know, they expect sunshines and rainbows, and I wish that was the case, even for myself with a lot of things that kind of go on in my head. Right, I wish it was sunshine and rainbows. You know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
But I understand that I'm going to get shit somewhere along the line. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Like I'm trying not to sound like a dick. You know what I mean? And I don't support the negative things that happen to people. You know,
but it's gonna happen. It's better to be prepared for it than to think it's never gonna happen.
I think it's delusional to think that it's never going to happen, and that does make you sound like an asshole.
It's also equally delusional to think that it should never happen, and then that if it does happen, it's some great insult or whatever. You know, like it's just
people have opinions. People do fucked up shit,
and people are fucking stupid most of the time.
And people are fucking stupid.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a fine line. Like when I talk to this with other people, like other friends that I have, just about all sorts of stuff. It's a fine line to walk when I talk about it because I don't want to make it sound like this is going to happen to you and this should happen to you because I don't think it should happen, right? Yeah, you know what I mean? Like I don't believe it should happen, but I know it is at some point, right? And like I said, if you can't handle the heat, then get out of the kitchen. You know what I mean? Right?
Yeah.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing. You go to a big guy in the bar and you start talking shit to him. Like if you're gonna do that, you can't be afraid to get hit. You know what I mean? Right? Yeah. I know it's a shitty analogy, but it's like the best one I can use. You know what I mean?
It's also like if you're like, if you go to school or something totally unrelated, and you're in the middle of class and you're breaking down, you're crying, and you're talking about how much you hate everything. Like, people aren't going to be like, oh, you know, and like trying to like coddle
most
you. Some of them will, but most of them are going to be like, what the fuck are you doing? You know, like we're playing Overwatch. Like, this is not the time for you to,
like shut the fuck up. You know what I mean? Right?
Especially in games, because people tend to be more, especially online in general, because people have that anonymity
behind the screen
bolsters them. You know,
right. It's like, you know what I mean, and I think I don't know. That's why, but also that's why,
even
like,
without anonymity, even just like here, like I would never. I don't think either one of us would ever sit down in front of somebody who was like actually going through something and be like trying to like make jokes right to their face. But because
it depends on who the person is
online. This is
to
online,
be honest with you,
and
I've run into people that are genuinely shitty people that are having really bad moments.
Well, if they're shitty people, that's a different story, though. That's not like just somebody who either we don't know or just whatever, and like trying to make their day worse. But being here online, we can sit here and make fun of people who are going through that or been dealing with that or whatever like that, and
But I think that's why I look at when I get shit online from other people, right? Yeah, you know what I mean. Or in a lobby or getting like I don't fucking care, right? Because it's like dude, they're hiding behind a screen. Yeah, you know what I mean. I'm not calling them pussies.
Well, you also shouldn't let the words of somebody you've never known, met, or will ever meet again affect you.
And maybe it's because maybe it's because I've been threatened by real people. You know what I mean? That I know. You know what I mean? Right? Yeah. Like you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I've seen face to face people, talk me down. Like I've been in scenarios where it's face to face. I've been through some shit where, you know what I mean? Like there's some real world consequences. So shit like this just doesn't mean anything to me. You know what I mean? Right?
Yeah.
Like it doesn't, like somebody telling me that they're gonna like drive all the way across the country, another country, and shoot me. I'm like, okay, buddy, I'll be waiting outside.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Right? Like I'm not scared of you. You know what I mean? And I think that's because I've like in my past.
Well, it's also in that
with...
case online. It's never ever something you fucking can take seriously because 99% of the time it's not a fucking serious thing. It's just people talking shit because they can.
The insults, like even the insults, like insults don't mean anything, and maybe it's because I've had my ass been jumped by people who just can't do that. You know what I mean? Right?
Well, yeah, but you're also a very different case from most of humanity.
Yeah, I think it just a bit jaded. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
right?
A little bit. But it's like I think, like those people who would like hurl insults or whatever, or like the people who go in Call of Duty and make sure they say the N-word within 10 seconds of booting up the game. You take them downtown Atlanta and you let them out and you be like, okay, go ahead. They won't. Exactly they're not going to do it.
With people that talk shit here, right? It's like, okay, well then come say this in my face. Come sit in front of my friends in my face. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right? Like, let's see how well that shit plays out now. You know what I mean? And it's not me threatening them. I just understand that, like, you put them in that position. And and I think, and I, like, you know what I mean? But I think even not going through stuff I've gone through, there's merit in understanding that, like, whatever they're saying it doesn't fucking matter. Yeah. You know what I mean? Right?
The main point...
Like, I don't take shit from anybody unless somebody comes at me a certain way.
Yeah. The main point of all this is just protect your peace and don't trust most people, especially online, because people online suck.
Yeah. Man, that was a weird one. That was a weird PSA we did.
Yeah. You know. You could type into the Chaos Continuum hotline if you really need it at your least favorite white dad on Instagram.
Yeah, add me up. I am the genuinely type of guy that'll sit outside the bar with somebody who's crying and talk to them.
Yeah.
You know.
There you go. And I'm
also the type of dude that'll kick your ass if you try to steal my drink, though. You know what I mean?
Fair.
Right? You know, like a nice guy, not a nice guy.
That's the good old cry like you're sad, but then like while he's patting you on the shoulder, you like reach over and you grab his drink and take a sip trick.
And I turn around and just jaw you in the face. I'm like, don't fucking do that. You know, don't fucking do that. You know? And then after you're lying on the ground crying because I hit you, I'm like, but are you doing like emotionally okay?
Yeah,
you know? Like,
it's like when you get angry and you like blow up at a dog and you're like, God damn it, and then you're like, oh, God damn it. You gotta
it's not even that. I don't feel bad that I did it. You know what I mean? Yeah. You know, but I like feel bad for them because they're also going through other things. You know, like they shouldn't have touched my drink. You know?
Yeah. That's all the topics I had today, by the way. I don't really have...
That was awesome. I'm really glad we went on this mental health PSA kind of.
I think it's good to... It's a good thing to talk and understand.
Well,
and get that out
and
there.
I think I enjoy talking about it.
We're not racists. We try to be good people. And this is, us providing that context 22 episodes in.
And I think this means a lot to me, and I think it's because I used to kind of be a bad person. You know what I mean? Right?
Oh, yeah. This is a thing I feel we've definitely both had experiences with and stuff like that.
I think I was a much worse person than I think you ever were, but, you know.
Well, not as far as being bad. Obviously, yeah, I think you're probably...
I was just in a really dark place. You know what I mean?
That's fair. We don't talk about this. Do you have anything else that's been happening recently? You've been on?
I don't know. I tried to do try to do my comp placements or my rank placements in Overwatch. Wanted to kill myself.
Yeah.
It sucked. I was playing with a buddy, and I was doing my we had to play separately because I was playing in my comps right now because I'm not at home.
Yeah.
So he's doing his rank placements, and I'm playing support. I'm whatever. He's doing damage. And I'm losing. I'm on like a 7-game losing streak. I cannot win. Yeah, and some of it was my fault. Some of it was the other team's fault. Like, I'm not going to be that guy that sits there and jerks myself off and goes like, "It's not my fault." You know? And then the only part that got me livid was he sits there and he goes, "Man, I finished. I got silver." And then 5 minutes later he goes, "Actually, I got plat." And I like heard that and I felt the fire in my eyes. Like, now's not the time. I'm losing. You know. But yeah, that's. I don't know. It's not a whole lot happening.
You really take an L to like the they thems. Like they took your Overwatch cred and they took your boyfriend. Like they really do be fucking you up.
Fuck you. You just put that in perspective to me. Wow, you're so right.
You're gonna meet someone else in your future, and they're gonna be like, "Yeah, I go by they them." You're gonna be like, "What are you gonna take from me, huh? You here for my kid?
You for my kid? You for my fucking money?" I'm just becoming weirdly transphobic out of nowhere. Yeah,
Not even transphobic. It's just like people phobic. You're just like, I can't do it.
I've lost too much. Okay. We're another one's gonna come on, and they're gonna take my spot on the podcast.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get my identity stolen. Yeah.
They turn you into a they. You wake up one day and you have no dick.
Yeah. It's like it's a little Velcro patch down there. Yeah. You know?
Yeah. It just opens up and the piss falls out.
The tube that runs down my leg.
It's not clean either. Like it's like it just splashes everywhere, all over like your feet and your legs.
I have to stand over top of the toilet.
Like a fucking like a sumo stance.
I have to stand in the shower.
And even then, you still gotta wash your legs off afterwards, like you're at the beach.
I just have to piss with the shower on.
It's not a stream either. Like it slowly comes out. It's just like you're popping a water balloon. Like you just open it and just whoosh.
Splash. It's like popping a piss bag.
Oh.
That's so fucked. Oh man.
My fucking jaw hurts.
I don't think we can get any better than that.
Oh god. We're only at 52 minutes.
Oh, was there anything else you want to talk about?
I didn't have anything. TikTok has done 10 billion in revenue through the shop.
Wow.
I think they're the only app to do that isn't a video game.
And I still don't use it.
Yeah.
That's insane. I don't know what it is. I think it's one of those weird bit things that I'm just committing to now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, which is stupid. Like,
I really enjoy.
You're not even America. What's your reason for hating China?
She broke my heart.
I'll be honest. This is something that, like, I deleted my TikTok. All right, at least I deleted the app off my phone last week or whatever, because I was like, every time I'm like on break at work or every time I'm like fucking taking a shit, the first thing I do is open TikTok and I just sit there and I kind of like just scroll through it for however long. Yeah. And I feel like it really has been harming my like attention span on things.
Yeah.
And like I try to delete it to be like, I just want to like not have to like see what happens if I'm not using it for a week. And about 3 or 4 days in, I just started using YouTube Shorts, and it's so much worse than TikTok. Like that's my main takeaway from it, is that it's so shit compared to TikTok. Like,
you know what's awesome? Because I just consume Instagram Reels and YouTube Shorts.
Yeah, and they're so much worse than TikTok. Like, I like today, I was thinking, I was like, I kind of like, I was like, I started itching, and I started just like foaming the mouth, like, I gotta restart TikTok. I gotta restart TikTok because these suck. Because like,
you don't like watching Andrew Tate clips.
It's all Andrew Tate clips, somebody trying to convert me to Jesus, or TikToks that have just been ripped and uploaded on YouTube.
It's all alpha male shit or like Jesus conversion. It's fucking awesome.
And it's got like no views. It's got like 2 likes on the video, and it's like, here, we think you would like to watch this. And it's a dude talking about how you can scientifically prove God, but you can't prove planets or some shit. And I'm like, what is happening?
I enjoy that I go to my Instagram Reels, and some of it is like just memes, and like I get to the darker part where just people dying. Yeah,
yeah, it's that video of a dude getting Beybladed by a train. Like, that's all it is. Yeah. I was so mad like a year and a half ago when Instagram started like locking down and purging a lot of those videos, because they were really funny to just find out of nowhere.
Dude, that's how I feel now. When I find one in a blue moon and I watch it, I watch a plane crash into an audience. I'm like, whoa!
You're like, oh, that wasn't CGI.
And then I scrolled down, like I scrolled to the next one, it's a dog dancing. I'm like, that's a shock right there, you know?
There's something so enthralling to the male brain about those videos, like on like Live Leak type shit.
Yeah.
That's like, it's so disturbing, and it almost every single time I see a video like that, I almost not want to watch it, and then I watch it, and then I watch it 3 more times for good measure.
I was thinking about it, right? Yeah, because I've recently started to become a car guy. Yeah, you know? And I sat there and I was like, why is machinery just so enthralling to the male brain? You know what I mean? Right? Like, why do I want to buy a forklift now? What's happening?
Forklifts are cool, man. They're awesome to drive.
Like, yeah, no. Are you also forklift certified?
I'm not certified, but I've been driving for a year.
I am.
They told me they would certify me, and they just haven't. So, I'm just the illegal forklift driver.
Yeah, that was me for a while. They were like,
we'll do it.
I remember I walked up to one of them
in the future.
I was like, am I going to take this? Am I going to get the certification? He's like, well, maybe. And I was like, but like, can I get it? He's like, why? And I'm like, because wouldn't it be funny though? Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
And I got the certification, and I quit.
Oh,
I wanted to quit the job, and I just wanted to get the certification before I quit, so I could walk out of there. You know.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, but I don't know. There's something about like metal noises, like cars and like
I will say, me and Peyton, my partner, we watch a lot of car crashing videos. I've talked about this before, but like just loads of people. There's something about seeing a car
and looking at
going down a street at like 100 miles an hour, and it's very clearly not a street designed for 100 miles an hour.
Yeah.
And they like hit another parked car, fly 700 feet while doing several barrel rolls, and then eventually wrapping around a tree. That is just...
There's something
I think it's because it's so real that like makes it so... Like, it's not a stunt. Like, if it was just a stunt of a car crashing in a movie... Yeah. It's just not the same. There's something about the fact that like there's a real person in that car. There's somebody so fucking stupid that they got themselves in this predicament.
That's me.
Yeah.
It's gonna be me one day. You're gonna watch your car crash videos and you're like, oh my god, that's Ben.
Or you'll see like there's this video I saw of a dude who like there's a fire truck coming one way and the dude is like angry that everyone stopped on the right side of traffic for the fire truck going the opposite way. So he tried to go around the cars, and by doing so put himself directly in the fire truck's way, and the fire truck was fucking blaring on its horn, and the dude was just stuck there like, no, back up, I'm trying to pass. With the fire truck's blaring its lights and everything, they're like, we gotta save lives. Like, dude, I feel in that situation a fire truck should be well within its right to just turn your car into a pancake, GTA style.
I think my favorite thing to do is watch car crash videos with a friend. Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I had a girl at the friend's house that her and I were seeing each other for a while. Yeah. We were watching car crash videos, and I looked at her as this car just crashed his vehicle, and dead in the eyes went, that car's got a shit crumple zone.
Yeah.
I turned back and watched. God, I'm so bad to watch stuff like that.
That's a Cybertruck? Yeah.
And then I'll like... we'll like watch it like spin out and like do barrel rolls, and I'll look at them, and I'll snap my fingers and go, and they're dead. And like explain to them like how they died.
Have you seen the Chinese like description videos? You know what I'm talking
about? I think I know.
Where it's like a poorly animated Chinese workplace safety video.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about.
Showing like a dude like fucking up and he gets crushed or something by something. Yeah, so all those animated videos are real. I put this together because I was seeing a compilation of a bunch of them. And there's a video of a dude getting crushed by a massive steel beam. And I was like, I've seen this before. And that came out of nowhere. I heard myself as an action figure. But, like, it's just a real video of a dude getting crushed that they just, like, rotoscope over with a shitty 3D model.
I remember they showed us workplace death stuff in school for workplace safety.
Oh, that's awesome.
You know? And I got out of that because I was playing with scissors in my hand. Yeah, you know, hearing it. Right? Yeah. Just fling them around. My teacher was like, my sub was like, don't do that, Brendel. And I'm like, why? Is it a workplace safety hazard? And so I'm like, we're watching people die in the background. She kicked me out. I was like, I thought it was fun. Yeah, you know?
Yeah.
I was a different breed in 9th grade, you know?
That's definitely a wild time to be playing with scissors. Is that how you got your dick cut off and transferred to the Velcro?
Yeah, I actually did that myself. Yeah, I was like, you know what my issue is? It's not big enough, and sometimes it's too big. You know what I mean? Right?
Yeah.
So if
I
just
keep
had it
changing
like
sizes.
yeah, depending on the person, you know what I mean? But like now it can be right for every person, you know?
Yeah. I'm gonna make it an innie.
Yeah, dude, I neutered myself,
God damn.
but I
Okay.
snipped the wrong part, you know?
Shut up. Are you ready to play Overwatch?
With you?
No, just by yourself.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I don't know. I've been knocked out since the Velcro penis thing. Thank you very much for watching, everyone, and we'll see you next time. Go fuck yourselves.